There's no such thing as an action without a purpose. Everything we do is important in some way. Counterpoint. The existence of a human with zero purpose to exist. Proof? Proof equal Adam Sandler. Alright, you win this round. For now. I was never good at math, but I'm pretty sure this robot doesn't check out. Which is ironic, since I'm pretty sure its mother was a calculator. Besides, if we are... why are you talking right now, June? You're thinking. Yeah, these kind of glitches are gonna happen quite often in fan games and possibly even the main games. Characters not speaking with their proper, like, sound effects, or doing, like, talking while thinking. Stuff like that. Someone mentioned before that they were wondering why I mentioned that, why did I say that someone was talking in a male voice even though they were female. If you listen to the sound effects of the character when the text is scrolling, the females have their own distinct noise while the males have their own distinct noise as well. That's what I was talking about. Oop, I forgot to say the previous sentence. Anyway, I mean if the last statement was a fact, and also there's also 7 facts. Which means there aren't 6 true statements, so there has to be a contradiction, which means something or another. Probably. Geez, maths really isn't my strong suit. Still, all that thinking about maths' numbers gives me an idea. Alright, Robocop, I've got you. You're not supposed to be talking right now, June. I'm getting a logic error now. All that's left is for me to point out your mistake. This must be it. Yeah. I'll save just in case. Present crime scene photo. Objection! That's not it? Schrödinger's cat. Sorry for skipping everything, but I thought for sure that I received your upload file. Your penalty.exe to JodgeNet. Loading. File received. Damn it, I should have known science was all numbers and then actually useful. Okay, that's strange. I was sure that this right here was going to be what I would have to present evidence on, but I guess not. Well, I guess it could be this, too. Yeah, okay, well, right evidence, just wrong statement. You know, I faced a lot of problems in my life. And a lot of them I sometimes saw as inescapable because the odds seemed so stacked against me. But you know what? In the end, I escaped all of them. Eventually, I learned that odds don't really matter. What matters is will to keep pushing on no matter what. And, so, to be perfectly honest with you, witness, your odds, in the end, won't stop me from getting to the bottom of this either. Oh, I guess it's because this is a custom sprite for June. That's why her hands sometimes keeps going, like, keep looping over. Yeah, that must be it. Because it turns out you're quite wrong. There was another way into that cell. Okay, you got a left eye but no right eye, June? That's a little strange. No, there was not. Yes, there was. And the crime scene itself proves it. Is that so? Well then, do tell. What in this photo reveals an alternate method of entry? The bars. It's right there, isn't it? There is a window in the cell. A barred window? I'm sorry, but I think you're forgetting that the crime scene is a prison cell. The window cannot be a valid exit, and therefore not a valid entrance. Are you sure about that, Mr. Edgeworth? Personally, there's something about this window that makes me question that. Question what exactly? The fact that it was impossible to not somehow get past it and enter the cell. And what leads me to question that fact is the bars on the window. Well, there's multiple choices here. The window's position, the bars on the window, the fact that it seems to be pretty cold. I'm just gonna say the bars on the window. Take a look at the bars. For a window of a highly secured and impenetrable prison cell, it sure doesn't look like it. Look at it. The bars are practically bent in some places. We can't assume it was impossible for absolutely anybody to get in. In fact, I'm going to argue that it's exactly what happened. The killer bent the bars and simply entered the cell. Objection! Cute. Almost like something out of a movie. What a shame that it's absolutely impossible. And why is that? Because it helps my case? Too high. Sorry? The window. It's too high for anyone to actually climb through it and enter. Let me check again. Doesn't seem to be too high. The cell itself is situated on the... Oh, from outside. Oh. The cell itself is situated on the third of the prison's 5 floors. For one, it's impossible to actually scale the wall. All walls of the prison are kept under constant watch by both guards and cameras. Nobody could have gotten in. And even if there was a way to do, removing the bars is not as easy as it might seem. But they're bent! It still doesn't change the fact that it would be quite a task to do something of the sort. Not to mention, the window itself is actually too small for anyone to fit through. Yeah, that's what I was expecting him to say. That was made 99.25% sure during the prison's initial designing. This was naturally overseen by our founder, Gail Warden, with the help of an esteemed architect. Initial designing faced issues with holes, but they were patched up and the prison pulled through. Would you like to hear more of the prison's rich history? No! I want to know why these bars are bent. The infrastructural damage in question was caused by the victim, Fred White. When? And why? A couple of days before the murder. I personally inspected the bars and assured that they are no real threat. Reasons for action currently remain unknown. That's weird. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he was trying to escape. But after years of being in jail? And right before his murder? Sounds a bit sketchy for sure. Something's on your mind yet again. No, it's not... Well, okay. How did the victim act in the days leading up to the murder? From what we managed to gather by talking to the warden and some of the other guards, status agitated. Agitated? Interesting. Is this the beginning of yet another one of your arguments? There's only so much the court can take in such a short span of time, you know. What's that supposed to mean? No, not for the moment at least. But it does sound a bit strange. It does. I'm betting it's going to be relevant later. Cross-examination complete. Hey now, that's my line! No additional points of interest found. No valid reason to proceed questioning. Cogito ergo sum. With a thought process like that, I should start to fear for my job. And on any other day I would argue against it, but... Mr. Edgeworth, don't talk like that! You'll get me to start panicking as well! Seriously? I thought he and Mr. Wright were close friends. They are, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Edgeworth falling asleep every couple of minutes does not suggest that. I can see that the poor fellow is exhausted, but... You would imagine that he would focus strongly enough to push through. I think that's only a thing in movies, Your Honor. Then again, he could just be treating Mr. Wright with the same respect he treated the court. Your Honor, please, that has nothing to do with... Objection! My physical state has nothing to do with how I see Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, I must warn you that I can have you removed for the last time. I am fine, Your Honor. I can testify to that, Your Honor. Who can testify to that? What? Old Bag? Really? Thank you, Miss Old Bag. Your contribution is immense as always. Now then, do you have any more questions for the witness, Miss Rye? Too late. The robot left during your power nap. Hack! When did you get here? Well, it all started when Mama Phoenix and Daddy Phoenix got into bed, and you know what she means, right? You had no right coming onto the stand without being summoned. Sorry. I guess I got a little ahead of myself. Do you wish a do-over? Mr. Wright, you are walking on thin ice as it is. I apologize, Your Honor. It must be the stress. You don't seem very stressed for a man about to spend the rest of his days in prison. There you go again. You can pretend as much as you want, but we both know I'm innocent. And we also know that's irrelevant. Aha! So you admit it! I'm done playing games, right? Sorry, but you don't get to decide that. Miss Rye, control your client! Miss Rye is not responsible for my behavior, Your Honor. But very well. I will behave, for now. You will behave for the rest of the trial. To be surrounded by people you once called friends. Now treating you like you're plain old dirt. I imagine you want my testimony. You have a right to plead silence, but... Right. I'll testify, why not? You already know what I'm going to say, anyway. And that's exactly what I'm afraid of. That is, assuming my lawyer has no objections. On the other hand, I don't have much of a choice. If he doesn't testify, the trial is over anyway. Maybe I can at least drag some of the truth out of him? None. Interesting. Very well, then I shall begin. I forgot to ask for your name and occupation. Phoenix Wright. Currently unemployed. I've started to take up some piano lessons, if that counts. Him? On a piano? I really can't picture that. Anyway. I arrived at the cell, that much I obviously can't disprove. However, when I got there, White was already dead. In the cell was my former assistant, Maya Fey, standing over his strangled body. It was then that she noticed me. Before I could do anything, she knocked me out. I woke up only to find out that I was being arrested for something I didn't do. So that's what he told us in the beginning. You're looking at me with the strangest gaze, Your Honor. I think it's because even he realizes how absolutely insane your story is. It's the truth. Saying that over and over again won't make it true, right? Miss Rye? Yes? In the name of all that is decent, I order you to shred this testimony to pieces! Last time I checked, she was working against you. Being against me does not mean that she gets to turn a blind eye from the facts. Miss Rye, your cross-examination, if you will. Well, I'm just gonna press everything first. So, you're admitting to that much. Well, I wouldn't, but I can't exactly claim teleportation. Not even you are that irrational. Are you implying I'm generally irrational? Yes. I won't argue with the results of such behavior, but no sane man would walk in your footsteps. I'll take that as a compliment. All the while, the rest of us take it as the truth. I guess I'm one of those cops that doesn't go by the books, but you can't argue with the results? In the movies? Sure. In the real world, they get fired. And for a reason, too. One day I imagine I'll write a book about these exchanges of ours. You wouldn't have the patience. I'll call it the undying support of optimism of Amal's Edgeworth. Is that sarcasm? It is sarcasm. Good. What? Well, I'm not necessarily disproving this, for now. You do have to admit it's a bit of a classic tale. Hey, not my fault that life's weird like that. But the fact that your imagination is clearly lacking to come up with something better is your fault. If you have evidence to disprove my point, then by all means, present it. I don't think you have, though. We shall see about that. Indeed, we shall. But you don't have it. Okay, I guess I... Yeah. In the cell, my former assistant, Maya Fey. Maya Fey. Maya Gutenberger Fey. Really? Scouts honor. You were never in the Scouts. Putting that aside, it seems a bit random, don't you think? How so? What would your assistant be doing there? She had every reason to be there. After all, Red White had murdered her sister in cold blood. She was clearly after revenge. Honestly, Wright, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here. But even you must see that this is going too far. So even Edgeworth thinks that Wright's innocent. The girl has nothing to do with this. End this farce. Make me. Have it your way, then. Miss Rye, expose this nonsense, now. Or don't. It's a free country, you know. But anyway. It was then that she noticed me. How would you describe Miss Fey? Maya? What's there to say? She was still the same as she had always been. So she wasn't like channeling someone? Just not as I'd like to remember her. Yeah, just about the same as she always was. Miss Rye, if you don't have any additional questions, I suggest we move on. What did she knock you out with? How should I remember? Well, you were there, weren't you? In spirit, I guess you could say. I mean, I wasn't really paying that much attention to what she was holding so much as everything else. Man, I'm messing up every sentence just because I'm reading it as it's scrolling. That's why I don't know if I should be like doing the sentence in a questioning matter, in a exclamation matter, stuff like that, you know? Of course, of course. I think I can practically hear Mr. Edgeworth's inner screams to do something here. I woke up in the... Wait, that's Edgeworth! You were arrested because you were found on a scene with all the evidence suggesting that you were the one responsible for murdering a human being in cold blood! Yeah, it'd be a lot easier for me to read the text if I was just gonna do, like, press the text so that it's all displayed at once, you know? Easy now, Mr. Edgeworth. Apologies, Your Honor. You can practically cut the tension here. Or is it annoyance? How am I supposed to cross-examine a story like this? I mean, it's insane! It's completely full of holes! Well, in that case, the only thing I can do is point them out. Okay, so... Well, I guess I'm gonna present the belt here. Okay, that works. How do you suppose White was already strangled when you arrived on the scene? And yet, your belt appears to have been used in the murder. The key word here, appears. She could have just as easily have strangled him with something else. And then placed a belt around White's neck while I was out cold. Fair enough. I can't help but think here lies a better point of attack for you here, Miss Rye. Well, I just wanted to be thorough. Sometimes the easiest solutions are the best ones. Come, expose this man straight at once. Oh! Okay, that changed nothing. Okay, so I guess visitors list for this part. Okay, fair enough. I guess I'm gonna have to present the evidence on multiple different parts of this testimony. How? Sorry? How could you have possibly seen Maya Fey in that cell? I'm not sure. I suspect it was mainly the eyes, though. That's not what she means, right? And you know it. She's asking you how it's possible for Maya Fey, no, anyone but you and White, to have been in that cell. That was a typo back there, I think. Just look at the visitors list. Even if you hadn't been paying any attention to this trial up to this point, you should have at least noticed it when signing in that night. Yeah, there's going to be typos everywhere in these fan games. There are some in the actual main games too. Mostly Dual Destinies had a lot of typos, but particularly in Case 3. You were the only one that passed the guard. And how did Maya Fey get in the cell? I don't know. I do have a theory, but I can't prove it. I am not surprised in the slightest, I assure you. What is your theory? Well, to answer that question, I'd have to ask you one. Miss June Rai. Why? Do you believe in spirits? Objection! I object on the basis of common sense. Sustained 1,000,000 times if need be. I never said my theory was based on something like that. Then you are wasting our time. Just let her answer the question, Edgeworth. Do I believe in ghosts? Spirits, not ghosts. No, I don't. And why not? Why should I believe something I've never seen with my own 2 eyes? There was something back there, was there? Check back on the footage if you want to see what it is. Assuming the recorder even caught that. How can anyone believe in anything without seeing any proof for themselves? So basically June is clearly lying here. She must be able to see spirits or something. Maybe that's going to come up later? I see. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's what I saw in that jail cell. Objection! Sustained yet again. Mr. Wright, I am warning you. Do not attempt to make a mockery of this court. Don't worry, no need for me to do that. I guess things are going to get more serious now. In any case, unless there's something actually disproving my theory, I'd say I should move on. Objection! You can't just ignore an issue. Is that so? Then I suppose you'll have to watch me. Okay, so I guess I'm going to have to do some more presenting then. Before I could do anything, she knocked me out. Writes medical report. Objection! That's a lie. That's all cold, don't you think? The truth often is, right? I'm sorry, but nobody could have attacked you that night. Your own medical report proves as much. Hey, no, considering I'm disproving what Wright is saying here, if I were to lose all my, life, would that end up with Wright technically innocent? Because I couldn't disprove his testimony? Well, probably not, but just the theory. I'm aware of that report. Tell me, why isn't it possible that there was simply no wound left? Stranger things have happened, after all. Objection! That was just sad, even for you, Wright. For you to have been hit so hard that you fell unconscious, you must have suffered... Yeah, that's true. For people to fall unconscious, you have to basically get brain damage. Y'all know that? Otherwise, you'd only fall unconscious for like a couple of seconds at best. And that would be from extreme pain. Not necessarily. The sight of the body, plus the sight of my former assistant, might have been responsible as well. You really can't know all the factors that went into it. Objection! Right, you have seen more than a couple of bodies in your lifetime. I doubt it very much that the sight of yet another one, especially red whites, would have... I'm not even sure what word to use. Whatever you claim, that occurred. Anything's possible. In Imagination Land, Your Honor, surely you... I agree with you, Mr. Edgeworth. No need to question that. No matter. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. You can't just ignore an issue. Is that so? It is. Mr. Wright! Put simply, your story makes no sense! Compared to everything I've seen so far, you are not convincing me of your innocence. And I made such compelling arguments, too. Mr. Wright, I've had quite enough of this behavior. Your Honor, please, calm down. Mr. Wright, listen to me. I need you to tell the truth. You don't believe me. You know, I warned you earlier about being unsure of what side you're on. I'm starting to think you intentionally don't want anyone to believe you. Please, Mr. Wright, whatever might be the reason you're doing this, it's not worth it. I believe that you are innocent and that you didn't kill anyone, but please, I need you to believe that I can prove that innocence. Help yourself and help me. Tell the truth. I don't want you to spend the rest of your life in jail for a story you made up on the spot. I thought I showed my trust when I chose you as my defense attorney. You didn't choose me, you accepted my offer. And that's not the same thing. Please, whatever they say about you and whatever people here may think, you're a good person. I know that. You think I'm lying because of what people think of me? If public opinion ever actually hurt me, then a different man would be standing before you right now. I know who I am. Nothing can influence that. And everything I do has always been for the same reason. For the truth! You don't think justice should come somewhere in there? Justice is irrelevant. Oh, really? What we believe as justice is only a matter of perception. Actually, you know, Phoenix's behavior does kind of make sense. This is roughly a while just after he got disbarred for accidentally presenting forged evidence. So him being, like, really salty about justice makes a bit of sense. No. Truth is the only thing that matters. You say you fight for truth, yet you're standing here, lying! The path to the truths I seek isn't an easy one to walk. For other people, I imagine it's even harder. Or at least, will be. What are you talking about? I gave you a choice, Miss Junrai. Oh, actually giving me my proper name this time. I give you a choice to back out, to leave. And look at you now. Every step of the way hurts you. Do you think my truth will help that? It's not your truth, right? It's the truth. So you say. But I wonder if that's what you really believe in. Mr. Wright. You want the truth? Fair enough. I'll give you exactly what you want. The truth, huh? So what is it? Okay, there was nobody else at the scene. I killed White, strangling him with my belt, but that much you know already. After doing so, I hit his head against the edge of his bed, and then I put some of his blood on the back of my own head. Now you're just straight up lying even more, Phoenix. After this, I pretended to be unconscious until the police's arrival. What are you doing, Wright? Tell him the truth. What's it look like? A fool doing foolish things. You're not Franziska, Edgeworth. But this is what you wanted, isn't it? I wanted the truth, not more lies. I agree with Edgeworth. But this essentially confirms your entire case, doesn't it? I mean, I thought you said you trusted the facts. Well, here you go. What in God's name are you playing here, Wright? Well, one usually plays a game, but I must inform you that there is no such thing here. That was my testimony. Would you like to cross-examine? Yeah, I'll do that. I think I can faintly see what he's doing. I wish I could see what you're seeing, June. Or rather, what he's already done. New music? So this must be the last testimony or something. So you died like a dog? Yes. You still are. Mr. Edgeworth! Withdrawn, Your Honor. And yet this is exactly what he's been claiming this entire time. Why is this happening? Killed by What are you saying, Mr. Wright? This is a confession. I believe that's what they're called, yes. Why are you doing this? Why would you just give us a false confession? There you go again, assuming it's false. You asked for the truth, and I'm giving it to you. I mean, hey, I understand why you doubt it. I've seen a lot of that kind of stuff myself. My assistant, she was prone to those kind of things too. She went and confessed to a crime she didn't commit not once, but twice. But in both cases, she was under the mistaken impression that she was the culprit, right? Suppose she was. She wasn't the kind to kill someone in cold blood, you know? Well, I suppose you never met the girl, so of course you wouldn't know. Then why did you accuse her of being the killer not 5 minutes ago? Yes, I suppose it wasn't much of a lie, all in all. Besides, now that I'm confessing, we don't need to focus on her anymore, anyway. Mr. Wright, do you really expect me to believe that you're capable of something so brutal? Of course I do. We're total strangers, remember? Before you demanded I let you take my case, we never even crossed paths on the street before. Besides, I expect you to believe that because there's something up here. This is not going to end that like the normal Ace Attorney way, right? Like, he might actually be guilty. But does Phoenix know Junrai?